Hey, future teachers, let's break down the Competency 003 curriculum design. Instruction and assessment are a team. They work together, never separate them. Think of it like two hands clapping. One hand alone makes no sound. You need both. First, what are TEKS? TEKS is Texas curriculum. It tells you exactly what students need to learn each grade level. You don't need to choose whether to teach it, it's required. What you must know? TEKS for your grade level. TEKS for the grade below yours, what students should already know, and TEKS for the grade above yours, what they need to be ready for. Simple rule. You can't plan good lessons if you don't know what came before it and what comes next. Key words you need to know. Goal. The big picture. What students should learn overall. Objective. Small measurable steps that break down the goal. Effective instructions. All students make progress, not just some. Coherent instruction lessons flow logically. Skills connect across subjects. Formative assessment checks during learning helps you adjust as you go. Summative assessments final check after learning. Grades go in the book. Goals versus objectives. Goal means the final destination. Example, students will understand fractions. Objective, the steps to get there. Example, students will identify half of the shape. Example, students will add two fractions with the same denominator. How to build them. Start with the big goal. Break it into small measurable objects. Break it into small measurable objectives. Put objectives in logical order. Each step builds on the last. The three purposes of assessment. Most teachers think assessment is just for grades. Wrong. Purpose number one, discover students' strengths and needs. What do they already know? Where are the gaps? Purpose number two, evaluate your teaching. If most students failed, your instruction wasn't effective. That doesn't mean you're a bad teacher. It means you need to change how you taught it. Purpose number three, guide your next steps. Gaps, reteach, mastered it, add depth and complexity. Formative versus summative. You will see this on the test. Formative during learning. What does that look like? Ongoing checks, adjust as you go. Exit tickets, thumbs up, down. Low stakes means small consequences. Summative after learning. What does this look like? Final checks, gives grades, unit test, final exam. These are high stake tests with big consequences. Simple way to remember. Formative is for learning and summative is some summary of learning. Prerequisite knowledge. What it means. What students need to know before they can learn something new. Example. Before learning long division, students need to know multiplication facts. What you must do, take a baseline measurement at the beginning. Another one, see what students already know. And lastly, fill gaps before moving forward. How to evaluate your goals. Ask yourself, is it clear? In other words, anyone can understand it. Is it relevant? Does this matter to students' lives? Is it age appropriate? Does it match the development levels? Another one, can it be assessed? Can you measure it by learning it? And lastly, does it match students' current skills? In other words, not too easy, not too hard. If a goal doesn't meet these, change it. What makes a lesson plan good? Lessons must have logical sequence. First, step A, then step B, then step C, in order that makes sense. Activities must progress naturally. Start simple, get more complex. Don't just jump around randomly. Every activity must support the stated goals. If an activity doesn't help meet the goal, cut it. Integrated and varied perspectives. This is the big test favorite. What this means, don't teach subjects in isolation. Connect them. Examples of doing this right. Thematic units, which means one theme across reading, writing, math, science. Interdisciplinary instruction, math plus science together. Cooperative learning, students work in teams. Multicultural experiences, different cultures represented. And lastly, real world connections. How does this apply to outside school? More, more examples in depth. Let's look at it by grades. So, easy through sixth grade. You will include the thematic units, remember, which means one theme across reading, writing, math, science. Include play, provide student choice and projects. For fourth to eighth grade, provide study times, multicultural experiences, which means different cultures represented, and multiple viewpoints. For 8th to 12th grade, include interdisciplinary instruction, which means include math and science together. Real world application, in other words, how does this apply to outside school? So the simple rule to remember here is if you're only teaching one subject in isolation, you're doing it wrong. Let's talk about time allocation and that you never have enough time. The problem with teachers is that we always need more time. The solution, manage time wisely. You must include time for reflections, student thinking about what they have learned, self-assessment, students evaluating their own work, closure, wrapping up, connecting to big picture, how to find more time. Collab with other teachers. You can teach across subjects or don't teach the same skill twice in different classes. State assessment connection. What you need to know. State tests, STAAR, are aligned with TEKS. You must understand how state tests fit with what you teach. Data terms you should know. Passing percentages. Frequency of correct, incorrect answers. Student improvement over time. Big point, the data is useless if you don't use it to change your teaching. Test taking tips. These two are the favorites for Competency 003. Favorite number one, use assessments to analyze students' strengths and needs, evaluate teacher effectiveness, and guide instructional planning. 2. Plan learning experiences that provide students with developmentally appropriate opportunities to explore content from integrated and varied perspectives. If you're stuck in a question, pick the answer that matches the assessment for three purposes or integrated varied perspectives. Important points to remember. 1. Base everything on TEKS. It's Texas law, not optional. Goals and objectives must be clear and measurable. Formative means during learning. Summative means after learning. Assessments has three purposes: strengths, needs, teacher effectiveness, and lastly, guide planning. Connect subjects, don't teach in isolation. Continued. Include time for reflection, self-assessment, and closure. No ticks for your grade, one below and one above. Use data to change what you do. If students didn't learn, change your teaching. Avoid sit and get lecture. Only increases behavior problems. Departmentalize teachers. Departmentalized teachers must collab across subjects. If you see a question about, for example, TEKS, know your grade plus one below and one above. If you see a question about goals and objective, goal means big picture and objective means small steps. If you see a question about sit and get, bad, it's really bad, leads to discipline issues. If you see a question about formative assessment, the answer is during learning, adjust as you go. If you see about a question about formative assessment, think during learning, adjust as you go. If you see a question about summative assessment, think after learning, grades. If you see a question about integrated perspectives, think thematic units, interdisciplinary, and multiple viewpoints. Did I skip one? The three purposes of assessments, think strength needs plus teacher effectiveness plus guide planning. If you see a question about logical sequence, think step A, then step B, then step C in order. Final reminder, instruction and assessment are a team. One without the other is useless. The cycle. Teach something, then after that, check if they have learned it, then you adjust, and then lastly, you teach again. Never break that cycle. Simple rule from before. Don't be a boring employee just collecting your paycheck. Be the teacher who designs lessons that actually work for every student. You've got this. Now go be the ideal teacher.